know a dream is like a river, ever changing as it flows, and the dreamer's just a vessel that must follow where it goes, trying to learn from what's behind you, and never knowing what's in store makes each day a constant battle just to stay between the shore. And I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky, I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. Too many times we stand aside and let the water slip away, till what we put off till tomorrow has now become today. So don't you sit upon the shoreline and say you're satisfied. Choose to chance the rapids and dare to dance the tide. Yes, I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky, I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. And there's bound to be rough waters, and I know I'll take some falls, but with the good Lord as my captain, I can make it through them all. Yes, I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky, I'll never reach my destination if I never try. So I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. Yes, I will sail my vessel till the river runs dry. Till the river runs dry.
I don't want it under. Wow. Good. Yeah. We just wait on that.
Yeah, was only we na. I'm the Yankisha ni Karagiwi. Egi Hawa na Egi. That is for the good way. When you get away. Shuwaktin, Ogitere. Iske, Hidewa ona kone. Say good morning, friends and relatives. Sure, appreciate each one of you's attendance, and I'm sure our family of the deceased Chakshepkate, Daniel WhiteEagle III, appreciates that also. And I'd like to say a word of thanks to the accommodations that were given to us so that we could do this at this time here. And I appreciate them working with us the best way that they can to make sure that the family is accommodated here. It was like say being here, coming here and doing this is beyond my expectations of the cooperation that we received. So I'm really thankful for the funeral home here, the people here, for their kindness, for their compassion for us. So I just want to try to express a word of thank you to them. I'd like to say a word of thanks to the family for blessing me with this. We feel that this is a holy time when our loved one makes his transition from where we are into the spirit world. It's a very, very sacred time, and I was given the honor and the privilege to come over here and bring our ways that our elders, that they showed us, to try to comfort one another here at this time, to be able to do that for the family. And the way it is that I happen to be here was from our older people, understanding the relationship that we have within our Ho-Chunk Nation with our clan system. And the family here, the elders, Dan's grandfather, he called my mother, and so we were brothers through our Ho-Chunk ways. And it works that way. Then how it happened was just, in my view, is that the way that the Creator makes things happen for us as Ho-Chunk people, and that our ways is that we have our clan system, and the family in Mourne here belong to the Eagle clan, and that's the upper clan that they come from the sky. And I'm the Bear clan. I'm from the Bear clan, and we come from the ground, and we take care of Grandmother Earth, and so with that, then it's only proper that we take care of the upper clan. Then the upper clan takes care of the lower clan, the ground clans. So it's just the way that I see it, the way that the Creator God makes things work. Way back from the beginning of time till now today, so that we can continue on. We can continue on how we do things as Ho-Chunk people. And so I feel very, very grateful that I'm given this privilege and this honor to be doing this and then Daniel would be my grandson. So I'm very appreciative of that, even though I look too young to be a grandfather. But this is how it is. So I thought I'd make a little explanation here before I begin our ceremony, our final visitation with Chakshepkate. And for those of you that don't know, that large eagle, that kind of, let's say, definition of the word that we use, or my way of thinking. Large eagle is a definition of Chakshepkate. So I thought I would say that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be getting my instruments ready here for a little bit. So then I'll explain further once I get things ready here, and then what's going to be taking place. The ceremony, I don't think it would take too long, depending on the things that happen once I make my altar here. I'm going to offer a prayer, and when I get my instruments ready and offer a prayer, and then we'll continue on from there. So I ask for your patience for just a little bit here. Okay, friends and relatives, what's going to be happening here, I'll kind of give you a rough idea of what I'm going to try to do here. There was a few things that was kind of added to what I do, but not too much of a change, but trying to accommodate the family and their wishes and their thoughts. And the whole purpose, the main purpose of all this is to make this transition easier for the family and to give them comfort in this transition period. So been here last evening and and now today to do these final rites for Chakshep Khate. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to offer a prayer, and I'm going to make an altar here, and then like I said, one of the things that we have to like improvise a little bit. Couldn't build. We'd usually have a fire built, and then we'd have coals here over in it, and then. But we couldn't do that, so we got some of those briquettes that they use in a church, and use them to burn cedar here. So doing the best that I can with what's here, trying to follow laws and ordinances and those types of things. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer a prayer and make this altar, then put these instruments down here, and then I'm going to have my nephew, who was like, he would, well, I said if we was in a normal situation, he'd be taking care of the fire, but I'm going to kind of lean on him a little bit, because with all your masks on, I can't recognize too many people here, so so I'm going to have him offer a prayer, and then he's going to fan off the remains here, and then he's going to fan off the family here sitting in the front row, and then use this feather that he's going to be holding, and stand here and make a motion around the room to fan us all off. So he's going to be doing that, and then when he gets done and he sits down, then have my other nephew here. And I was really appreciative of my nephews. I told them what I was going to be doing up here, and they put aside what their plans were and came up here to help me out. So I really appreciate it. And the way that we see it as people, this is a blessing. This is a blessing for me to do this. And then so for their kindness, to share this blessing with them and ask them to help me out here during this time here like this. So because I didn't know, like I say, how things were going to be up here, but they were kind of willing to come and be with me at this time. So I'm going to ask him to be expressing some words. Then when he gets done, then Mark's out here someplace, and then he has a book that he's going to read to you guys about and then he wrote it himself. So so he's going to be doing that. Then when he gets done with that, and then I'll be singing four songs here, and then when I get done with that, then I'm going to pick up my altar here, and then we're going to be moving to the side here, and then we're going to have our viewing. And so I'm trying not to take up too much time, because there's a timeline. They have to make it out to the cemetery, so I'm trying to abide with that also at the same time. So just let you all know about this is kind of what we're doing here. Hopefully I don't have to add anything to it or anything like that, but just trying to say be accommodating. They're accommodating, so I'm trying to be accommodating also. So I ask you all to bear along with me. Jagu hong chinera, jagu hong chinawira, mao kachanga, hinakiyush umyanaga igi jagu angshinere wakanchankina gidi weanaga igi widogunde hidakara hinagigira igi choja watungi kshinyanaga igi deguna igi maonkshanga igi dewanigi na igi ushkani wina igi hani igi khuragra igi maonkna ejawaji igi wagite wani wina imashtainekte eske natru nagi jongi hinigraga Jesus walker changa hoshipin kiwande iskepti
bestow upon us here each and every day here, Creator. And you know me, your Creator, here. So we come here, God, today. I ask you to look down upon me here, Creator. Have pity on me here. Before we do humble word here, prayer here, God. Say thank you here for the life here that you gave to here, Daniel WhiteEagle III, here, all the things here that took place with him here ever since the first, he made his first cries and here when your creation, all the way until you called him home to you, your Creator, all the things that he experienced, everything that he enjoyed within here, his travels, foods that he liked to eat within here. He's leaving all that behind here for us to enjoy within here, and the love within here that he shared with the relatives that here that they could take that here and put that on each other that here, my father, put that on his wife, his children, his relatives that here, the father. It would be easier for them that here to move on, to carry on forward that here. All these things that here. Ask in your son's name, for it's in Jesus. Amen. And you all up from right here, relatives. Feel like I want to sing a song.
Ja, Jenny, friends and relatives, I'd like to greet you all a good morning. Greet you all with good feelings. I'd like to express my appreciation here to my uncle here for sharing this blessing with me. Sometimes when they ask me to do things like this, and well, I guess the way the Creator that he works through me, and he inspires me in a lot of different ways, and sometimes it's just overwhelming, and I don't know where to start. But I'll say thank you to God. Start there, and give Him all the praise, and give Him all the glory, and thank Him for all the wonderful things that He does for us here every day. Thank Him for His love, and thank Him for His grace, and thank Him for His mercies that He extends to each one of us every day. And and for those of you that don't know me, Mike Rajra, Chester, Kirk, Nick, Inga Hiri, Wangshik Rajra, Chakshak Kunuga, Inga Hiri, Jegu Hananga, Wanagari Wangshik Karach, Ijan Wahung Haji. At the same time, Sha'e Vanitashki Zinishna, Mado Naklanet Washishi, Mado Nakatine Dashichi, Mado Naklanet Dashinale. Belong to the Ho Chunk. My dad's side is belong to the Ho-Chunk tribe, Ho-Chunk Nation. And there's several different names my clan that I belong to, the Warrior Clan, the Warrior Bird Clan. And my mother, she's a Navajo, Dene. The clan that I belong to on my Navajo side, translated means the Coyote Pass people. And I live in Toma, Wisconsin. Got a wife, got a home there, children. And I grew up mostly down in Arizona. I was born in Eau Claire about 1978, November. And I was about 5 years old. We relocated down to Arizona. Grew up down there. And I've been going back and forth to Wisconsin my whole life. And finally, about 11, 12 years ago, I relocated permanently up this way. And I really enjoy this way of life that we have here. This Native American church, Peyote way of life. And, sometime it took something like this for myself to open up my mind's eye and realize that there is a God, and He's real. And to make up my mind and to choose to find out what He's about. So that was in my early 20s, about 21 or 22, when my nephew when he walked on. So ever since then, I've been on a spiritual journey, like a spiritual awakening. And today, I do what I can to strive for spiritual perfection. I don't know if I'm ever going to achieve that in this life, but that's what I'm striving for.
Mm.
So I want to extend my condolences here and my sympathies here to the family here of Chakchepkete, his wife. I don't know if he has any children. His little boy came into the ceremony yesterday, sat down, that was one of his grandchildren. And all the ones, his mom here, and his siblings, his children, his nephews, nieces, and all his extended family. As far as his bloodline goes, on his dad's side, his mom's side, and the community that he belonged to here in this locale here. And then I was wanting to talk about I never got a chance to meet him, but I really enjoyed from the time that I got here, the ceremony, and the expressions that were made about him. They talked about his personality, the life that he lived, and how he was. In my mind, I could really picture him laughing, teasing, joking, going about his everyday life, kind of like that Ho-Chunk kind of perspective on life. Enjoy life to the fullest. Never a dull moment. That's the way I was picturing him in my mind.
Mm.
We are in different, unprecedented times right now with what's going on in the creation here. And not too long ago, I would even say maybe just a few weeks ago, we put my dad, one of my dads, is what happened to him. He got COVID, got into the hospital, and just like that, he was gone. And my dad, he was one of the last elders in our area down in Wisconsin there that went this way, this Peyote way. He was our everything. He was our rock. He was our go-to guy for prayers, for encouragement. And it was a big loss for our family.
Mm.
But while he was on the creation, while he was still alive, while there was a breath of life, I still kept the hope that God would bless him, that He would heal him. the same time, you know, I really didn't like to see my dad suffer. So whenever I could I put up a ceremony for him. Yeah. And well, I really wanted my dad to live. I really wanted him to live. But somewhere in there, that this situation that we were going through, God, he visited my mind. And like I'll say, every day strive for spiritual perfection. All the things that are of God, try to seek out those kinds of things. And so, one of the things that I was learning was about God's will. And we pray, and one of my favorite prayers is the Lord's Prayer. And we say, you know, our Father, who art in heaven, Father who's in heaven. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Your Father who's in heaven, your name is holy. We want your kingdom to come, and we want your will to be done here on earth as it is up there where you're at. So I started being curious about what God's kingdom and what God's will is. So I started doing my research, and right there in the scriptures, I don't remember exactly where it pointed, it defined what God's kingdom is. Real simple, 3 words: righteousness, peace, and joy. And that's God's kingdom. And then in there, God's will. So we have a God. Our God is a God of life. He is a God of hope. He's a God of healing. He's a God of prosperity. He's a God of abundance. He's not a God of sickness. He's not a God of death. So there's God, and then there's the enemy, the evil one that's out there. So then the enemy, he's nowhere near God's level. God's way there. The enemy, he's way down there somewhere. He's got no power or anything. The battle with him is already won. But his sole agenda is real simple: to kill, steal, and destroy. And so wherever that righteousness, joy, and peace, that's what his job is: to steal, destroy, to kill that. So wherever there's an absence of that, that's the work of the enemy. But him, the evil one, he's God's creation too. God created him. So in my prayer, when I was wanting my dad to do well, it came to me, I was thinking, man, he's the God, he created everything. He's got all the power, control, everything. And if he wanted to, he could just take this sickness and just be done with it. And just get rid of it, just like that. He's a sovereign God. He could do that. So just like just like all of us, we're created in his image, and there's a reason and there's a purpose while we're here. And so that's the way it is with that enemy here. There's a reason and there's a purpose for it. But God can take whatever that guy does, he can turn it around, and he can make it to God's glory. So with Chakshakate here, there was nothing. This is his destiny. This was this was in his plan all along. There was nothing that we could have said, and there was nothing that we could have done that would have changed the outcome here. And just like Nego was saying, it's a blessing, God's supernatural favor. And this here is the highest blessing that any of us could ever receive on this creation. So, I guess as you guys make your way in the few short moments. We're talking about that yesterday. We're going to take him to his final resting place and put him back into the bosom of grandmother Earth. What little that we're doing here, the ceremony, these prayers, we're all done over here. And I like that attitude that his mom was saying yesterday, it'll be all right, and go on. I like that. And your lives are surely, they're never going to be the same. They're never going to be the same. So wherever you have to make that adjustment, and wherever you're going to fall short, no doubt, you're never going to forget them, and you're going to miss them. You're going to miss them. But my dad that passed on, he would say, in times like this, my grandfather used to say, do your best, before you go out there in public or to see the relatives, you say, do your best, you're going to wash your face and comb your hair, put a smile on your face. So when the relatives, they come see you, they know that you're good, that you're strong, they don't have to worry about you. But, that's when all the relatives go away, you're going to go home, and be at home. And there might come a time where you're going to feel like crying, you're going to miss something. And he said, it's good, it's all right, cry, shed your tears, cry to your heart's content. But don't waste your tears. Do your best to say a prayer. And when you're done, wipe your tears, wash your face, fix your hair, and put a smile back on your face. And then keep going. So I wanted to share this here, with the family, and I don't know, trying to comfort them and uplift them, encourage them along. And I'm gonna continue to pray for you guys. You guys will be in my prayers. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Dega. Thank you for listening to me.
Okay, Mark.
Good morning. I wish to remind everybody that although these are dark times, when it's dark enough you can see the stars. As Father Paul would always say, I'd write shorter speeches, but once I get started, I'm too lazy to stop. So, here we go. Thank you. Daniel Dean WhiteEagle III, born June 6, 1966, died October 30th, 2021. Danny was a good bowler and a good man. That was the eulogy from The Big Lebowski, one of Dan's favorite movies. Daniel. Funny, of all the names I know that people referred to Danny with, Daniel was one of the ones I never really heard. Some of the names: Pretty Boy, Choka, Danny, Dega, Mean Dega, Big Dan, To me, he was always the big guy. My sister Luann, Lou, who Danny called the king, called me in tears late last Saturday after Danny's passing, asking me to do this. I want to thank her for this honor, but it's overwhelming. How do you memorialize such a beloved and adored man? I wrote down notes, and then I stared at blank pages. And late Wednesday night, I heard a voice in my head that said, "Princess." That's what Danny called me. "Princess, just lash together some facts, sprinkle in some old native wisdom, make them laugh, please make them cry, and put that tale to bed." Thanks, big guy. Pretty boy. When Danny was born, the nurses at the hospital had not been informed of his name yet. They all thought he was such a pretty boy. The name stuck, and Danny was forever pretty boy. On Danny's first day of kindergarten, they called his name, "Daniel? Daniel? Daniel?" He didn't respond. The instructors were very concerned that this little boy didn't know his name. He was so used to responding to pretty boy. I would often joke with Danny and say, "It ain't easy being pretty, is it, Danny?" He would always respond, "You got that right." The Creator must love ordinary people because he made so many. I'll say that again. The Creator must love ordinary people because he made so many. Each and every day, in every walk of life, ordinary people accomplish extraordinary things. That was the big guy. He considered himself ordinary, yet he touched so many. He was never too busy to have a one-on-one conversation with you. He made you feel special. He would make you laugh. He would make you feel like you belonged, like what you had to say was important enough to listen to. Ordinary people accomplish extraordinary things. You're all here today. We're all here together because Dan accomplished extraordinary things. Danny was a sporto. He loved sports. Back in his younger days, when he was really pretty, he was a player. Softball, basketball, volleyball, broomball, bowling. He was a national softball champion with the Chiefs, a sporting organization that he and his brother Reese started in 1989. I'm sure you've seen all the Chiefs apparel the last couple of days. Thank the pretty boy. Ordinary people accomplish extraordinary things. Danny found his gig when he started working at Pot of Gold in 1994. He was hired as a pull-tab auditor, eventually becoming a caller. No one, and I mean no one, could call the numbers like Dan. His deep, confident, crystal clear voice boomed throughout the hall. He trained every caller, giving them a skill set they could enrich themselves with financially. Some would say he was a mean trainer. He was hard on you. That wasn't actually the case. He was very direct. There were 3 ways to do things, to call the numbers. There was the right way, there was the wrong way, and then there was the big guy's way. And as soon as you learned that the right way and the big guy's way were one and the same, you had no problems. I think of all the callers that he trained in 28 years. All the skill sets he gave out. All the livelihoods he enabled. Ordinary people accomplish extraordinary things. I worked with Danny for 6 years at Pot of Gold. Every shift, he would sit down with some of the players to a one-on-one chat. He had so many personal relationships with so many players, making them all feel like family. That was Danny's way, one-on-one. He wasn't a get up and talk in front of everyone guy. God forbid you call the wrong number. As a coworker, all you would hear is a big loud from Dan. Right in the middle of a silent bingo hall. He loved to tell jokes, usually ones that would make any HR person have a heart attack. Yet even when you were the target of the joke, you felt special, like you were part of the team. Every April Fool's Day, he would palm a special ball and put it in the camera, 076. Always made everyone laugh. A little side note, Danny used to bring cookies to all the Pot of Gold employees. They were delicious. And everyone begged him for the recipe. Nope. Wouldn't give it out. One day Lou was asked by Dan to help him make the cookies. She helped him make the cookies. Everybody bugged Lou. What's the recipe? Can't tell. With permission from the king, the recipe is go to Porky's, buy 3 dozen cookies, unwrap them, and put them in Tupperware. But that was not the most important thing that happened at Pot of Gold. He met a girl. Danny was soft-spoken in the beginning, and days before their first official date, Danny laid on perhaps the greatest pickup line, other than yours, Sawman, ever made to my sister. On his way up to the caller stand, the big guy paused, turned and said to Lou, "You know, I bet you were a real looker back in the day." Golly, what a silver-tongued devil. While Lou was taken aback, she was hooked. And Danny reeled her in. They were supposed to go out out with a group of people from the hall. Everyone canceled. And Lou suggested that they do it some other time. But Danny said, "Why don't we just go?" And after that day, they were inseparable. They did everything together. They were that weird couple that was never apart. Best friends, lovers, soulmates, two peas in a pod. As my two kids would say to me this week, that are 20 and 18 years old, we never saw Auntie Lou without Big Dan. Ever. 20. In our whole lives. They loved the fair. They couldn't get enough. Often going 10 plus times each year. Nothing short of insanity. They went to grandkids' games together. They loved Vegas, cruises, Disney, always together. Danny unlocked the door to Lou's heart and filled it with joy that she never thought possible. Every day, ordinary people accomplish extraordinary things. As I said, the big guy loved sports. It was his passion. He could not get enough. The Twins, the Gophers, the Vikings, grandkids' games. He was always in attendance, using that booming loud voice to shout encouragement. He was never too tired to go out in the backyard, to pitch a little batting practice to Jeff and Leah's son, Jaden. He took that boy under his wing, became his coach, teaching him all the ins and outs of the games he adored so much. But of course, his favorite team was the Twins. Baseball, America's pastime. He was so proud that he was a season ticket holder to his beloved Twins. In Danny's world, home runs were rally killers. Strikeouts were boring. And there was nothing more poetic than a well-executed hit and run. It was a rare thing to not see Danny wearing Twins gear. One time, Danny and I were given tickets to a Timberwolves game. I agreed to go. I was told the tickets were good seats. And the price was right, free. I went to pick up Danny, only to realize they were courtside seats. $1,500 a pop, right next to the opposing team's bench. We went to the arena early, feverishly enjoyed all the free perks that came with courtside seats, and got our game faces on. Of course, our phones were getting blown up. Hey, we see you on TV. You're right on the court. And Danny was in his heckling nirvana. He kept riding Dallas Mavericks players. Former Fab Five member Juwan Howard was on that team. He kept barking at him. Come on, Juwan, do the Cabbage Patch. Come on, Juwan, you're up by 20. Do the Cabbage Patch. Juwan Howard finally boomed a giant smile at Dan and did the Cabbage Patch for him. He told us after the game that we were the most entertaining hecklers ever. After we got back home, Danny kept telling Lou about all the amazing pictures he had taken. When they reviewed them, nothing but pictures of cheerleaders. Danny loved fantasy football. He loved to study the stats, make ridiculous trade offers, chat about upcoming games. He joined my league. his first auction ever. He bought Adrian Peterson, LaDainian Tomlinson, was out of money, so he had to sit there and watch player after player go. And then he spent like $3 on a washed up Randy Moss for the New England Patriots in his first year, where he scored 23 touchdowns. Danny was the luckiest gambler I've ever met in my life. He was a 2-time WFFL champion, the first Triple Crown winner ever. And when he won his first championship, that very day he went out, took a wrestling belt, championship belt, and had it engraved with WFFL champion. And when I came home for Christmas, he looked at me and said, "Princess, would you like to try this on? Oh wait, you haven't won one yet." Danny was still active in our league. Guess who he played last weekend? Me. Yep. Even in death, he beat me. Thanks, big guy. He's the one that got our league the trophy. The commissioner has renamed the trophy to the Zutah Cup. And my son is taking over his team and promised he's going to win it all for Big Dan. In 2010, Courtney and I, my wife, and I decided to get married. We decided not to get married in a church for fear it might burst into flame, but to have it in our backyard at our annual Halloween costume masquerade. We both decided that the only person to officiate the service was Big Dan. It was a costume party, and as we all know, Danny loved playing dress up. But he would not tell anybody what his costume was going to be. The rumors were flying. Would he come as Elvis? Personally, I was hoping he was going to come as the Pope, because how often do you get married by the Pope? But Danny arrived in an NFL referee outfit. During the ceremony, he actually threw the penalty flag. And when it came time for Courtney and I to recite our vows, he stopped the ceremony, pulled this coin out of his pocket and flipped the coin to see who would go first. Tails never fails, right, Court? He had the coin engraved. It says, "Courtney, congratulations." The date, which I'll get into in a second. Tails, Mark, congratulations, the date. Danny passed on our anniversary. "11 years ago, he married us. I guess he never wanted me to forget my anniversary." Thanks, big guy. Danny married 3 couples, including my nephew Nick and his wife Ashley. He joined 3 couples in matrimony. Every day, ordinary people accomplish extraordinary things. He always was very proud of being 3-0 too in the matrimony department. Danny loved music. From Elvis to Madonna, rap to Say Geronimo, Danny was truly a little bit country and a whole lot of rock and roll. Johnny Cash, Elton John, Streisand, the Jackson 5. His knowledge was impeccable. He could tell you who wrote it and when it was recorded. Always. He programmed all the music at the hall, including the late night discs, or as Danny called them, gotta get them out of here selections. I am reminded of a song by Jerry Jeff Walker called Contrary to Ordinary. I never lived my life through other people's eyes. I guess I've always been the one they said was too big, too late, too early. Yeah, he's the one. You ought to be in a circus because you're having too much fun. Just a one-man band in a one-man gypsy circus, finding out each piece of the puzzle has a purpose. Drifting and dreaming. That must be my fate. Always grinning down the devil's throat, blazing with aces and eights. Don't bring no preacher man down just to tighten up my past. Just tell him how I like to live, to make people sing, dance, and laugh. And I was always contrary to ordinary, even as a child. Fast freights made me wonder. The full moon drove me wild. Stories do come true if you live your life in episodes, with one eye on your lady and one eye on the open road. I know what the big guy would say right now. I'm just waiting for Monday. Now, let's get back to business. Thank you.
Relative, we'll wait a little bit here. They're supposed to be playing a song.
Wise men say only
friends and relatives, like I was saying, trying to do things to accommodate the family and relatives and friends. And at this time here, my nephew was given some hair. He's going to explain a little bit about what's going to happen with that. And then when he gets done, then I'll be singing them 4 songs.
I have your attention. Nan called me over, and she handed me this this piece of leather here, and then inside it, some of the woman relatives they got together and they cut their hair and they put it in here and they wrapped it up, and they wanna send it along with him. So I'm gonna come around and smoke it off, and then I'm gonna put it in the casket there with them. So I just wanted to explain that here. Okay. And then Luann's hair is in his breast pocket here. I'm gonna tuck this in here. Say thank you, relatives.
Friends and relatives, that last song I was singing was the Lord's Prayer in Portland language. So I'm going to use that for my closing prayer. Be putting my instruments away here at this time. And done with that, and we're going to make preparations for the viewing, the final viewing. And I'd like to thank you all for the cooperation. The cooperation that I received here. And they was telling me that these people that are going to help us take Chakshep to his final resting place. They were going to be here about 11:30, and so we're kind of pretty close to right on track with that. So I'd like to say thanks to each one of you for your kind cooperation of what we're doing here. And I'm thinking that
everything that's been done here would be of good strength to each one of you as you go on in life, the way that we do things as Ho-Chunk people.
They give you some thoughts
about the life that we live in our everyday. And
some good thoughts and feelings.
for you in your everyday walk of life. What the Creator has in store for you, and how unpredictable for us as human beings that life is, and that you would continue to strive to
Be better with one another in your everyday living.
will continue to encourage one another in this everyday living. I don't know too much about life or anything. Just what I've been told and was shared with me around these ways in our everyday walk of life, around our Ho-Chunk way of life that we live. We have the Native American Church, and we have family that belongs to our traditional way of life also. And they're always talking to us about this, about the life that we live and how we should be with one another. And our ceremonies that we have, we're always mentioning our mourners and just life, how we would want to be better in our everyday. So what we did here would be of good strength to each one of you as you go on in life. So once again, I'd just like to say a word of thanks to the family for the blessing that was bestowed upon me. And in my everyday life, I could use this. And I had about a year and a half ago, I had this sciatica in my, and it affected my left leg. I couldn't walk for a while, and I gradually, I was on crutches, couldn't use my left leg, and hard for me to sit down. Like didn't go to a ceremony for about 3 or 4 months. And finally started coming back, and then today, or last evening, I was telling my nephews that last evening was the first time that I could sit the way that I am on my knees when I offer prayer to the Creator, or when I sing my songs onto the Creator. Usually I was sitting like with my left leg kind of not folded under me the way that I like to do. This is the ways that I was told to me by one of my older brothers to pray or to sing, to be sitting on your knees like this when you're addressing the Creator. So I was thankful, and I was telling him that I'm getting better because this is the first time that I was able to do this fully, and so I'm really appreciative of this blessing, that I received here today, and just thought I'd let the family know that I'm grateful. I'm grateful for asking me to do this. So I doing the best that I can for them. So I thought I'd share that with you all. So we're going to be moving here from here, then they're going to be setting up the viewing for us here. And then once they do that, then however it is that the viewing is done, I'll let these gentlemen take care of that.
No.
Just a few quick announcements prior to that final viewing for those that do wish to have that final viewing. For those that do wish to go to the cemetery, we will be going in procession, so for those of you that are driving, please turn on your headlights and emergency flashers so the escort does know you're a part of the procession. Next, following the final prayers at the cemetery, you're all invited to a gathering which is going to be held at Flaherty's Arden Bowl, right near Pot of Gold Bingo, right off of County Road E in Snelling in Arden Hills. You're all invited there after the cemetery. And last, those that will be serving as pallbearers, as you exit the facility, just wait for us by the first set of double doors in the foyer area. Those that will be pallbearers, we will bring the casket to you there. Those that wish to step to their cars at this point can. Those that wish to have a final viewing, we'll set up for that right now.